Welcome everyone to episode 2 of Pixel Pals with me, the Yorkshire Gamer, and
myself, RetroSega81. Hi everybody.
how are we doing all? So yeah, I think the first episode went down pretty well. I was quite chuffed with it. What about you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I seemed to get quite a good reception. I've had a few messages from people saying that they had listened to it and enjoyed it and stuff as well. And when's the next one? Which I think that's always a good sign when somebody's asking when the next one is. So yeah, it was good. Actually, it's scary that that's a week ago. To me, that week has just flown in. So yeah, it's crazy to think that's a week already, and we're on episode 2 now.
I know, and then trying to think of like new ideas and stuff for episode 2. It's like to be honest, like majority of it I've only thought up today, so it's just like last minute. But yeah, like I say, I think it's good that people are wanting to hear more. So that's always a good sign into it. And yeah, probably do it every week, every fortnight, or something like that. Yeah, just see how it goes. But yeah, I guess the more people that view it and share it and things like that, I guess the more likely we are to carry on and do it.
Yeah, definitely. And even if people have got questions that they maybe want us to answer on the podcast as well, obviously myself and Yorkshire Gamer will be putting videos out, so feel free to comment in those videos any questions, and we can obviously discuss them on the podcast as well, which might be quite a good idea, actually, getting some listener questions in and then see what our thoughts are on them.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Like, I was tempted to put a video out and just like, what do you want to ask us? Like, because like obviously we've thought of some questions, but I think it'd be good to get like an outside perspective, and just see what people want to know about us.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, good.
Could
be dangerous, but I think it could be good.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. As long as there's nothing rude in there, then I think we'll be all right, won't we? But yeah, have you been up to much this weekend?
So this weekend, I took my daughter to her first Dunfermline game. That was the big thing this weekend. So they used to do this quite a lot at Dunfermline, where they would let you in for £5 at East End Park for every ticket. So that was adults, kids, seniors, everything. So she's been at me to go to a Scotland game, and I'm like, right, how about we go to a Dunfermline game first, and then see how you like it, and then I'll take you to maybe to a Scotland game. So we did that on the Saturday. I took her out for lunch before it, which I think was the arm behind the back for her to say yes, to be perfectly honest, because she was getting chicken wings. And then we went to the game. Of course, we got beat, so the fella got beat 1-0. So I was like, well, she's a jinx. She will never be back again. But it was good. She actually paid a lot more attention to it than I thought. She had her phone with her, but she literally was only on her phone at half time. The rest of the time she was watching it. First 10 minutes she was actually cheering on the wrong team though, because she got the colours mixed up. I was like, oh, schoolgirl error. But yeah, she enjoyed it. So that was the main thing this weekend. Other than that, we just really enjoyed the nice weather, because it was really nice up here. What about yourself?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I've been building loads of garden furniture this weekend. So I had to build a table and 8 chairs, and the chairs were such a bugger to put together. And then Sunday, I built a barbecue, and I nearly messed the whole thing up. Don't tell the missus. But it turned out all right in the end, thank God. And I went to see the new Minecraft movie as well.
What's your thoughts on that? I've seen loads of videos on TikTok about this. It's not a game I've really ever played. Or how did you find it?
Well, yeah, so like I'm quite an avid lover of Minecraft, like playing it. It's really good. Like you can literally just create anything, which is good. So I thought, they're making a movie based on it. Could be a hit or miss. And I've got like a rating system when I go and see a film at the cinema. So the way that I rate a film is, if I fall asleep, it's not that good. But usually when I'm in the cinema, that's just usually my time to just have a nap.
Yeah, but with the comfy chairs.
yeah, exactly. But this time I didn't fall asleep, and it's actually really funny. The majority of it's like you're in I don't know, like an acid dream or something. But it's actually really funny at parts. Jason Momoa, his character is like such a douche. But it's so funny. He's like in his 40s and he's trying to be cool all the time. But yeah, I would recommend watching it. Like, it's really funny. And Jack Black's in it, and he's a funny guy as it is.
Yeah, you can't usually go wrong with him, eh? So I take it you don't really need to have played the games or anything to still enjoy the movie then, no?
No, yeah, I think obviously it's a bonus if you have played the games because you'll kind of get the idea of what the universe is and, you know, let they're in. But no, yeah, I think you could just watch it if you've never played Minecraft, yeah. I think you'd still enjoy it.
What would you rate it out of 10 then? If I was to put you on the spot for an IMDb rating out of 10, what are you going to give it?
Rotten Tomatoes. I'd give it. I would give it a solid 8 out of 10.
That's good. That's good because I have seen mixed reviews. There's some people that have been loving it, and then there's been other people I think that have not been so keen. But it's been totally mixed from what I've seen. But usually you can't go wrong with like Jack Black anyway. I think he's hilarious, and that Jason is it Moa, the guy that's Aquaman. That he just seems like such a cool dude. When you see him like in interviews and stuff like that, he just seems so down to earth. So usually, again, he's probably going to be a bit of a winner with him in a movie as well.
Yeah, like the films that I've seen him in is either like he's got like a really like serious character, or he's like playing the tough guy. But in this, he's just the complete opposite. It's so funny. So yeah, I think it was quite refreshing seeing him play a role like that. But
we have to look it out then, because I'm surprised Alba's not asked to see it. Even she did play the games for a little while, but she's right big for just wanting to go to the cinema and stuff at times. So I'm surprised she's never asked yet. Actually,
yeah, get her to it, mate. Yeah, I think she'll enjoy it. Cool, nice one. Well, yes. Well, last week we did 2 Truths, 1 Lie, and
well, you did. I done the wrong
thing. Yeah, so I thought this time we'll do it again, but we'll do it properly this time.
Right. Yeah.
But I just thought maybe we'll do it for this episode. Then next week, maybe we can mix it up and do something different. But again, I think it's just a good opportunity for the listeners to try and guess, well, learn more about us, and have a bit of fun at the same time. So, do you want me to go first this time, or do you want to go?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So what I've done. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, go for it. I'm just making sure because I had to write mine down to make sure I got them right. So I was just making sure I had it the right page on my phone. So I do.
No problem. So, because last time I did 2 truths and 1 lie, I've actually done what you've done last episode, and I've done 2 lies and 1 truth.
Right. Okay.
That way we're even Stevens then, aren't we? So, okay. So my first statement is, I was the first person, according to PSN profiles, to platinum Garagoa. The second statement is, I once got a picture with Jackie Chan at the premiere of Shanghai Noon at Leicester Square. And the third statement is, I have sped-run Resident Evil Village in less than 3 hours.
Now, I really, really want the Jackie Chan one to be true. But I'm thinking if that was true, I would have heard of that by now, or you would have sent a photo by now of that. Because
to be fair, I was 13 at the time, and it's just on a. It's not like a digital. It's like one that you had to print off.
Right. And then Resident Evil Village and under 3. Now, I have actually played that Resident Evil and I finished it. And I remember a couple of the bosses at the end were absolutely solid. Under 3 hours. And I'll be honest, that first game, I don't have a clue what it is. I'm guessing it's maybe a PS1 or PS2 game, maybe?
No, so Garagoa, it's a PS4 game. And
PS4, right, okay.
Like a small indie game, but there's a website called PSN Profiles where basically it logs all of your trophies. So at the time, I was trying to collect loads of platinum trophies, and I saw an advertisement for this game, and on PSN Profiles they released the trophy list quite early. So I'm like, right, okay. I know what I need to do, and I managed to get. I was the first person to get the platinum on that.
So 2 of these are lies and 1 is the truth. So you've been convincing the two of them with the Jackie Chan and that. So I'm going to say the speed run's a lie because I think it maybe took a little bit longer. 3 hours seems really quick for that game for when I played it. And then I'm going to say, see, you sounded so convincing with both of those. I'm going to say the lie is the Jackie Chan one then as well. So the Troop's the first one that you were the first person to platinum in that game that you mentioned.
And you would be incorrect.
Oh, no.
So that the first one is a lie. I was the 21st person to get the platinum on that game in the world.
That's still impressive. Though. Jeez.
So the true one is either the Jackie Chan one or the Resident Evil one.
See, I'm going to say the Jackie Chan one because you gave me that extra information about saying your age was 13 and it was like an old school photo and everything as well. And you were quick to say that. So I'm going to really hope that's true, the Jackie Chan one.
And you would be incorrect again.
Oh, no way. No. You were so convincing with those two.
Mate, I did a lot of research. I searched when did Shanghai Noon come out, and it was the year 2000. So I worked out I would have been 13 when that came out. But yeah, the true statement is I have sped run Resident Evil Village in less than 3 hours, only by like 33 seconds. And the reason being is to get the platinum trophy on there is a trophy for completing the game in less than 3 hours.
Is there?
Yeah, but I literally did it by the skin of my teeth.
How many attempts did that take you then? How much?
Well, I played through it probably like 3 times, just normally. The first time, just my normal playthrough, and then if I really enjoy a game, I'll look at the trophies after, and then see, what can I get on New Game Plus or whatever. So by the 3rd attempt, I already pretty much knew what I needed to do and where I needed to go and collect things and stuff. So I think it was like 3 or 4, maybe on the 4th attempt, I managed to do it.
Jeez, that's impressive. Like, because I have played that Resident Evil, and I remember it being solid. Especially was the last couple of bosses or something. I remember correctly. They took me age. I think they were like about half an hour for me just to beat one of them. So that's why I thought, that's impressive to do that in under 3 hours. Like,
I think my first playthrough was about 11 or 12 hours, playing it normally. But yeah, like I say, once you know where you need to go and stuff, I just knew like, right, I need to sprint over there now and collect that and then sprint back, and so yeah, to be honest, it can be done, but yeah, like I said, I only just did it though.
That's impressive though. Even then, I used to love trying to get all the trophies. It was when Xbox 360 came out. That's when I first started doing like the trophy chasing and that, and then I used to get games that were like a couple of pound that I knew you could get like the 1,000 points really easily on, and I would just get them and play them, and then that was all I was interested in. And some of the obscure games that I played that I probably never ever would have looked at, but because I knew they were like easy 1,000 ones, that's the only reason I played them. I think the last time I looked, I had like 105,000 Microsoft, which is probably not that much, but to me it was a lot because I didn't know anyone else that had over 100,000. But it's probably nothing in comparison to some people out there, probably.
So is each game worth 1,000 points? Is that how it works?
It used to, that's how it was on the 360. So like the one that sticks to mind was like there was an Avatar one, not Avatar the movie, like the cartoon thing, the wee boy. Is it Avatar? It was
like
called
Airbender or something.
That was it. And I remember all you had to do, this is like the one that sticks into my mind, is you just had to load up the game, and it was like a 50-hit combo or something you had to do at the beginning, and you literally just kept pressing the same button, and he was doing all these hit combos, and it was building up, and it was like just giving you achievement. But I think they were like 50 and 100 each time. So, and it took literally 7 minutes or something to get it, and that was it. I bought that game done it, and then just got rid of the game because I was never going to play it again. And I remember King Kong being another one. I'm sure it was 1,000 points, and you got, I think it was 100 points for every level you finished, and it didn't matter the difficulty on it either. So you could put it on easy and just play through it, and as long as you completed the game, I'm sure it was like 1,000 you got. But yeah, I used to just do that all the time. Just look for games that, like in your magazines and stuff, that you knew that you once to get the achievements.
To be fair, some of the platinum trophies that I've got, I'm quite ashamed to say that I've got. Like, there's probably about 50 that are like similar to like that. It cost £1 or 70 pence on the PlayStation Store, but it tells you you can get a platinum in 3 minutes. I'm just like, go on then, for £1, I'll add it to collection. But yeah, I've stopped doing it now. It's waste a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't do it. It was me and my friend, because it's my pal that done it as well, and we would be in competition with each other to try and see who could get the most. And then when it went on to like Xbox One and stuff, obviously you were online and everything, so you could see each other's because you had your picture, and then it told you the score underneath. So that was a good way to keep track of like who had what, and if you were overtaken, and then you would be away playing games more. And I like that aspect of it. But even now, I don't really pay attention to them, to be honest. Like, they pop up on my PS5 when I'm playing a game, but I couldn't really tell you the last game I went trophy hunting on. I couldn't even tell you now, to be honest.
Yeah. Cool. Right then. Do you want to go with your? Have you definitely got two truths?
I've got my one. I have. I've got it the right way around this time. I even double checked the message. I can't believe I've done that, by the way. I actually found it easier though, because it's easier to think up 2 lies.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 truths and 1 lie. So the first truth, well, I'll go through them all actually. So I was going to say the first truth there and give you the answer, so I'm going to have to change the order. So the first one here is, I've started playing darts after a few weeks. Wait a minute, is it 2 truths and 1? I'm getting confused again now. Because I've what was it?
Yeah, it's 2 truths and 1 lie. Yeah.
Right, that's fine. I was making sure. Right, it's because you've confused me because you've done it the opposite way around before. Right, so I've started playing darts again, which I never really. I used to play a little bit. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, I'm going to start playing darts. 3 weeks ago, and in that 3 weeks, through 150, so I hit the bullseye 3 times. Boom, 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 in a row.
Oh, the first one. All right, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
So I took 3 darts, and I was just aiming for the bull. And with my 3 darts, 1, 2, 3, I hit the bull 3 times.
Okay, right.
The second one is, I once sparred an undefeated professional boxer.
Right, okay.
And I once played a game of football at East End Park, like a full 11-a-side, which is at Dunfermline's football ground, so the team I support. I once played a full game there.
So 2 of these are true. Okay.
2 of these are true, and 1 of them is a lie.
So the darts one. So are you saying that you've never played darts before 2 weeks ago?
I've never really played, apart from like when you go out with your pals and you play like around the board or around the clock or whatever you call it. You've just to hit 1, you have to hit 2, you have to hit 3.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, because in the new house, believe it or not, in our attic, there's a dartboard, and it's been up there, and I actually measured it and checked everything, and it's at the proper like height and everything it's meant to be,
brilliant.
and the darts were still in the dartboard. So I thought, right, I'm going to start playing darts, because obviously I'm trying to get a gaming room and all that sorted. So 3 weeks ago I just started. Every time I was up the stairs, I would nip up to the attic, and I've just been chucking darts, and I've been able to get a 150. So I was aiming for the bull, and with 3 darts in a row like that, I basically hit the bull, and then bull. So all 3 darts were in the bull together.
Cool. And then the second one was, you've sparred with a professional boxer.
Yeah, professional undefeated boxer.
Undefeated.
So yeah, I've sparred with him.
And how long ago was that?
That would have been about. No, that was a bit before. Probably before COVID, just slightly before COVID. So maybe about 6 years ago, 5 years ago time. Yeah, probably that.
All right. Cool. And then the last one was, you've played a full 11-a-side game at your football club's stadium.
Yep. Yeah. So East End Park. Yeah. So that's Dunfermline's stadium. So yeah, I've played a full game football there.
Oh. Right. I'm gonna go with. I think the second one's true. I think it's true.
Okay.
I don't know. There's just the way that you convinced me that was true. But then what's the other one? 11 aside or the 150? To be fair, getting a 150 is hard. And if you've only been doing it properly for 3 weeks, I think you would have had to throw a lot of darts before you did a 150. So I'm going to say that's the lie. I think the 150 is a lie.
And you're right. Boom,
Yes!
you're correct. I got 2 in it. I managed to get 1, 2, and then the third one went a bit ski whiff.
It's always the third
yeah.
one, isn't it?
I know it is. And I actually as well got a 140, and I was so gutted because I hit treble 60, and then I was like actually shaking, and I threw it, and it just hit above the wire, and I got 140, and I'm like, no, and I've never been closer again. And that was only about after a week, and I was like so confident, and then I was so unhappy because I thought I was going to do it, but yeah, that was a lie.
So who's the boxer?
So it was a guy from Kelty, a young guy, Connor Law, his name was. He used to train us at Goliath Gym, and he used to train us on a Friday, so we do like boxing and stuff like that. And we used to have a ring. Now, a lot of the guys were younger, and obviously I was older than a lot of the guys you're talking. A lot of them were like in their early 20s and things like that. So like 5 years ago at that point, I was like in my late 30s. And Connor was always looking for just guys to spar with and playing that. And he was like, oh, do you want to go for a spar? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And I think he thought because I was older that I had been boxing and training for ages, which I had not. And honestly, he battered me. Like, he wasn't being horrible or cruel or anything. He just, like, after about 30 seconds to a minute, I think he realised that, wait a minute, this guy's not done as much boxing training as I thought. And he actually broke my nose. Broke my nose. But it wasn't like, it was not being cruel or nothing like that. It's just as we were training, I could not hit him. I think I hit him like twice. And then I came round like that as he was throwing a hook, and it just went crack. But I didn't feel it at the time. It wasn't until I got home and I was like actually picking my nose. I was like, oh, my nose is sore. And then you could see it. It was a wee bit like squint. And then, believe it or not, about 2 weeks later at jiu-jitsu, I was rolling with somebody, and as they rolled, I went round on their knee, and I cracked it back into place and then realigned it again. So yeah, it was like a bit of an eventful 2 weeks, but yeah, he was undefeated pro boxer, this guy, which is mental, like, because there was some really good talent at that gym. And believe it or not, now there's one of the guys who's into the bare knuckle, and he's now an undefeated bare knuckle fighter. And I've actually sparred and trained with him as well. And he's an absolute animal, but he is the nicest guy in the world. But see, when it comes to like training and just boxing and everything, he's just an absolute machine. He's crazy in the ring. He's an absolute nutcase, but he's the nicest guy ever. Honestly, he's like the nicest guy out with training and the ring, but he just gets into this zone, eh? Again, he was good to spar with. He was never like horrible to you or nothing like that. He would never like take advantage or anything. He was always like teaching you stuff when you were in there, and if he spotted something you were doing wrong, he would stop it and slow it down and show you what you were doing wrong. So yeah, they were good guys, like good guys.
Nice. I can't believe it broke your nose.
Yeah.
I bet that was like a fuck.
As a broken nose, I had a black eye under there. And I remember, because as I came out, one of my pals, Scotty, was like, I didn't think Connor likes you. And I'm like, I think he thinks I can box. So I was like, I just said I would go in and try. And he just leathered me for a minute and a half.
And the 11 aside game, did you win?
No, I don't think we did actually. It was a charity game for work, so it was to do my work, and I played in goals. And I don't think we did. It was a team for Glasgow that came. Some of them came over, and then it was like different departments within where I work. And actually, I remember, I think I got injured after about 60 minutes and I had to come off. But yeah, I don't think we did win. Remember, I can't actually remember the score, but no, I don't think we did win, to be honest. Probably not with me in goals.
Well, at least it was for charity. That's the main thing, I guess.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
No matter if you win or lose. Cool. Yeah, that were good. That I enjoyed that. But yeah, like I said, I think next time we'll maybe mix it up a bit. Maybe do something different. So we'll have to get his thinking caps on, or we could ask the viewers what they think we should put in there. Be good to ask them.
Good shout. Yeah, that'd be good.
Cool. Yeah. So on Spotify on the last episode, there's actually a comment section, and I'm afraid to say, Dylan, we actually got a few complaints.
Oh no.
It was nothing that I said. Nothing that I said. It was something that you said actually that really upset people.
And that was
yeah, that you've never played a PS3. That that seemed to anger a lot of people.
By the way, I've genuinely had a few messages about that as well. People saying, "How could you not have played a PS3?" I'm like, basically that's the reason. The reason I gave in the podcast is the reason, and I haven't. I genuinely haven't. It's the truth.
Yeah,
but it seems crazy.
I was joking, by the way. There's not been any complaints, but I just thought it'd be funny to chuck that in there. So yeah, I've done like a really small section here of some PS3 games that I think that you could play even though you've not got a PS3 because they've either been re-released on the PS4 or remastered on the PS4.
Right, cool.
And I guess you could tell me if you've already played them and what you think to them as well.
Good shout. Yeah, I never thought of that because maybe I have actually. So, right, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm intrigued.
So the first one, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see me holding the games up. But if not, I'll just tell you what they are. A lot of people will tell you probably to play this. So the first one is The Last of Us on PS3. Originally PS3, but it did come out on PS4 as well.
Yeah.
So have you played The Last of Us?
So I have. So this is part of the story which I probably maybe never mentioned, but because I jumped over to Xbox when it then came to getting the PS4 or what was the Xbox equivalent, Xbox Series X? That was the two, wasn't it? That and PS4. Because there was like exclusive games, and on the PlayStation side, on the PS4, it had The Last of Us, it had Uncharted, and it had Days Gone. That was the reason I jumped over to PS4 because I wanted to play those 3 games, or technically 5 games because there's quite a few. There was a few of the Uncharted games. Yeah. So that is the reason that I didn't go from like 360 to Xbox One to the Series X, as I jumped over to PlayStation, and it was the first one I played was actually The Last of Us. I played that first. Then I did the Uncharted ones. Then I did Days Gone, and then The Last of Us 2 came out, and I played that. So I have played that. I've just never played it on a PS3.
Yeah. What do you think to The Last of Us?
I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. Obviously, the TV show's out now as well, which I really enjoyed. But I loved it. See anything that's sort of like I think I've spoke to you before this as well, but any like sort of zombie type thing. They're technically maybe not zombies, but like monsters and stuff like that. That's just like hooks me in. I love that sort of thriller. I do also quite like games like that you do get total immersed into the story. And you start to get like a bit of an emotional connection with the characters as well, which I did. I genuinely, and this is why I'm quite interested in the TV show to see what they do with it and how early on. Because even my missus is watching the TV show, she's got no interest, like I said, no really any interest in gaming or stuff. But when I showed her the trailer for it, she was like, "Oh, that looks quite good. I would watch that." And I was like, "Oh, it's a computer game. I've played it."
Don't tell her.
And she was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Oh no." And I think I put her off, but. Yeah, I'm quite intrigued to that side of it. But yeah, I really liked it. But I know, obviously, from listening to Coach Marv's podcast, we shout out to Coach Marv, there's been a lot of discussion between people hating on the second one, I've noticed. But I never really hated it, but I enjoyed it. But I don't know if it's because I played them so close together, because obviously the time I finished the games, I then pretty much went on to it. But what's your thoughts on that? Because loads of people seem to hate on the second one, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't like what happened, but I understand why they did it. You know, for me, the first story is all about love. You know, it's about Joel losing his daughter, and he's getting that spark again, and he's this young girl that he needs to protect and make sure he's safe. I think he, as a father, he's getting that, you know, that sensation again. And he feels like he needs to do everything in his power to keep this girl alive because he lost his daughter in the first one. And obviously Ellie in the first one, she's got nobody. So I think she sees Joel as this father figure. So yeah, I see the first game all about love, but then the second game, I see it all about hate. Obviously, this thing happens to Joel, and Ellie just goes on a rampage. She's not going to stop until she's found this person who did Joel in.
Yep.
So I've always said that The Last of Us Part 2 is not a happy story. It's not a happy ending, and everybody loses at the end. You know, Ellie loses Dina. She's really connected to playing guitar because that reminds her of Joel, because Joel taught her.
Yep.
And at the end, she can't even play it. You know, it's the one thing that she's got that can keep her close to Joel. And at the end of the game, she can't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
And then obviously Tommy, Joel's brother, he loses an eye. He can't walk properly anymore. Yeah, but yeah, for me, although I didn't like what happened, again, I can see why they did it. But I think story-wise, it's brilliant. Yeah. And even the gameplay as well. Like they tweaked some of the mechanics and stuff, so like you could like crawl under cars and stuff, which you couldn't do in the first game. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. To be fair.
I did. I thought it looked stunning as well. I thought the game looked brilliant. Like you say, the combat mechanics and the part stealth and going the fighting parts and that. I thought they just worked really well. So I really liked it. And like you say, yeah, I 100% agree what you're saying with the story side of it as well. I often sort of wondered with what they done with the second one, if they could have eked it out a little bit to maybe have a third one, but then do what happens to Joe in the third one and build it up a bit more. But then would you maybe just be dragging it out a bit too much? But I think that's just because of how much I enjoyed the game. And then I know you've got the spin-off like DLCs games and that. I've never played them because I'm like, because of what happened at the end and how The Last of Us Part 2 went, I don't really have an interest in going to play the side ones, the DLCs. I'm like, nah, I feel like that's the story for me, and I don't know if you feel the same or if you've played the DLCs, but I haven't touched them.
Yeah, so the DLC for the first game, what's it called? Left Behind, it's called, and it's basically it flips between part of the Last of Us story. So if you remember in the Last of Us where Joel falls from a building and gets spiked, and then Ellie's trying to get him out of this building, puts him on back of this horse, and then he collapses. And then the next part is winter, and Ellie's hunting for rabbits and stuff. So it's the bit between the part where Joel collapses and winter. So there's like a section there of the game where basically you see what Ellie has to do to try and keep Joel alive. But then it flips to sort of like a prequel to where Ellie and I forgot her name now. But Ellie said that she had a girlfriend who died, and basically they both got bitten. And they said, you know, they'd be all poetic and lose their minds together. If you've watched the series, it's that part in the mall, if you remember.
I was going to say that. Is that the bit it is where they're sitting in the mall and obviously it's like the sort of Romeo and Juliet type thing staying together, and then
So basically it flips between that and then the part with Joel, and then it'll go back to the prequel and then back to Joel, and it does that all the way through. It's really short. It's about 3 hours top. But yeah, I'd recommend playing it. It's pretty good still. You see it's a bit like an Easter egg because you see part of The Last of Us that they didn't include. Pretty good.
Maybe go back and visit it then. Now that I've recovered from it, I might do that because I think it is maybe on the PlayStation Store or the PS Plus. I'm sure it's maybe on PS Plus or whatever you call it, the Game Pass thing.
I think have you got the physical copy of Last of Us?
No.
So I think it comes with that, but you don't know. You might already have it.
I'll have a look. I'll definitely have a look then. Check it out.
Cool. Well, this next one is a bit of a cheat because technically it's PS. These two games came out on the PS3, but when they were released on the PS4, they were released as a double pack.
Oh, right. Okay.
So the two games in question are Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls.
No, now I've never heard of that Beyond Two Souls, I'll be honest, but that Heavy Rain, I've had that downloaded for about 2 years on my PlayStation, and I've never touched it yet. And the thing is, I did play, because they're the sort of storytelling game, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you direct where the story goes. And I've played like The Quarry, I've played all those anthology ones, and then I played the Telltale games like the Walking Dead one and everything. And I've heard so many people say that Heavy Rain is really, really good, and I've still just never got round to playing it yet. So it is on my PlayStation. I've just never played it yet. That second one, I've never even heard of that, I'll be honest.
Yeah, to be honest, out of the two, Heavy Rain is definitely the one that I would recommend playing. Beyond Two Souls is very similar to Heavy Rain, but it's based around one character, and it's quite a long story, but it's a really good story as well. It's quite supernatural. But Heavy Rain, I think you play as 4 different characters throughout the game. So one is a dad who has a son who gets kidnapped by the notorious origami killer. So basically, he keeps getting these letters saying, "Come to this location if you want to see your son live again," and stuff like this. But then he's faced with challenges to basically get clues to find out the actual address where his son is. So the first challenge, I'll not go through all of them, but the first challenge, he is told to go to this parking lot. He finds a key and it opens a car, and he gets a text saying, "Get in the car and drive to this bridge." So he drives to the bridge, and then he gets another text saying, "Turn on the GPS." So he turns it on, and then this voice comes through and says, "You need to drive against traffic for 1 mile. And if you can do that without dying, I'll give you a clue." But basically, you feel every single emotion that character has, because you're like, "Whoa, I don't want to do this." But there's like some of the challenges later on. I think there's like 5 challenges altogether, and there was one challenge that I just couldn't do. I was like, I can't do that. But so you play as the dad. You play as a journalist, and she's trying to get like coverage and like story on this origami killer. You play as this private detective, and he's trying to pick up all these clues to find out who this killer is and find out where he is and stuff. And then you play as like an FBI agent, but he's got like this really high tech like glasses and stuff, and like you can see, like, I don't know, it's really weird to explain, but he's you can basically just like find all these clues through these glasses and stuff. But the more he does it, he gets ill. I'll not go into much detail, but it's really good. And like you say, you can decide what happens, but the aim of the game is to keep all of the characters alive. So if a character dies, that's it, they're gone for the rest of the game. So yeah, but you've got to try and keep them all alive. All the way to the end. It's really good.
That's not what I thought then, because from what I've seen of it, and I purposely tried not to look at a lot about it because I didn't want to like ruin it, because I knew it was one of the sort of Telltale story type ones, but I just thought it was one character. I thought you were like a police detective or something, and that's pretty much as far as I looked at, and there was some sort of killer. But yeah, all that extra stuff, I didn't know that was even anything to do with the game. So I might actually play that, because I'm starting to get a bit fed up with Dying Light 2, if I'm honest. So I feel like I'm wanting to play something else. Yeah, it's getting a bit repetitive now, so I feel like I want to jump onto something else. So that has probably been on my PlayStation the longest, that game. So that surely is my sign to actually get on to play it. So I'll make a promise. I'll start it before next week's episode, and then I can maybe tell you when I get up to.
Yeah. That'll be good, yeah. Try and get to at least the first challenge, or if you can get to the second one, that'd be even better. But yeah, Heavy Rain was the first platinum that I ever got on PlayStation. Nice. So like that was like the first game that I'm like, I really like this game. Like I got quite addicted to it. I was like, I need to know what happens next. I need to, like I say, because each character's got their own story as well. Like you're trying to like see what how their story progresses as well. But yeah, really good. But the voice acting is not very good.
Yeah, And you play a lot of these type of games then, because you had quite a few, like obviously the Telltale ones, and what was the Detroit one as well? I can't remember what it was called. I really liked that. Like I thought that was really clever, and I really liked that. And I got a bit immersed with all the type of games. Like I say, I played The Quarry, Man of Medan, and the other ones, something of Ashes, and all them. I can't remember all their names, but I got really involved in them. I really, really enjoyed them, and you do start to get like really emotionally attached to certain characters that you want to really keep them alive. And then to the state that I played some of them, that obviously characters died, I was right on YouTube once I finished the game, looking to see what other like endings there was and how there was ways to actually keep the characters alive, because there was some games of them I played and I'm like, how did people keep that certain character alive? Because no matter what I did to try and keep them alive, they always ended up dying somehow. And then it's like just one little decision that I'm like, right, okay. When I've YouTubed that, I've then found out. But I played quite a lot of the type of games in a short period of time because I just got so addicted to them.
Yeah, it's really good. Like Heavy Rain as well. I think it's got 17 different endings, obviously depending on which characters you keep alive and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a challenge to get the platinum, because you've got to view all the different endings.
Did you? Gee, how long do you think that's took then, hours wise, if you had to put a number on it, do you think, roughly?
I think to complete the game, probably about 10 hours. But then you could have like a scenario where all the characters are dead. You could have a scenario where just one of the characters is alive, and then if it's not that character, then the next character just has to be alive, and then the next character, you just keep going through like that. But then I think there's like certain actions in the game as well, like a butterfly effect. Like even if you keep all the characters alive, if you do a certain action at some point during the game, I think that can affect the ending as well. So I had to YouTube it. There was just no way that I could just figure it out all by myself.
You wouldn't be able to, though, unless you spent literally hours and hours and hours and hours. There's just going to be no way they're going to have the time to try and figure out all those possibilities of endings.
No, but yeah, really good game, mate.
And I'm going to play it.
There is one game I'm just going to quickly plug in. It's not available anywhere apart from PS3. In fact, it might be on Xbox. You might be able to let me know. Metal Gear Rising.
No, never played it. No.
So Metal Gear Rising, I'll be very quick with this one. A lot of people wouldn't give it a go because they were just like, it's not Metal Gear Solid, it's not Solid Snake, it's Raiden basically, but he's a ninja in it and he has a samurai sword. And I thought, I'm not going to listen to anybody else. I'm just going to get it. I'm going to play it. And I absolutely loved it. It's nothing like a Metal Gear Solid game, apart from maybe like some of the bosses. Some of the bosses remind me so much of the Metal Gear Solid bosses, just how weird and wonderful they are. But yeah, you basically just slice and dice everything around you. But yeah, it's really good. So if you ever do get a PS3, I would recommend getting that one as well.
Don't hear another shocking admission here. I've never actually played much of a Metal Gear Solid game. I've never got to a boss. So this could be the end of the podcast there. I think I have genuinely the furthest I've probably gotten one is the first one, and I think I've got to about the second level. I don't even know how far into it. Not very far at all. I don't know what it was about it. I could just never get into Metal Gear Solid games. I actually have a couple of them on the PS2 as well, and I've only just tested the work and I've never played them. So that is another one on my list that I need to rectify that, because I'm actually embarrassed about that one. I'm really embarrassed.
If you do play any, just play the first three. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, definitely you need to do the PS1 version. That's like the most iconic one out of all of them. But yeah,
I know. I can't believe. Honestly, it's shocking. I know, but it's like I don't know why. Again, it's another one of these ones that I don't know how it bypassed me. I just never got round to playing it. I just never ever got round to playing it.
Yeah, I'm like that with some games as well. Though I can't think of any off the top of my head, but yeah, there's a fair few games that people are like, "Oh, have you played this?" And I'm like, "No," and they're like, "What? Everybody's played it." I'm just like, "I've not." But yeah. Oh mate, yeah, Metal Gear Solid, get on that. That's gonna be another snippet now for.
I know. I've just thought of that. Like, and again, there's going to be a few people, probably the same people that's going to comment on it as well.
Right then, cool. So the next section is we've got 3 questions, and I think we both came up with some of these. So, but yeah, I'll read it out, and then if you want to go first, and then I'll give my answer after.
Yeah, no problem.
So the first one is, what's one game that the first time you played, it just blew your mind and couldn't get enough of?
Right. So this was quite an easy one for me. And I think people probably think it's going to be like quite a really old game, and it's not. And it's actually, believe it or not, Grand Theft Auto 3 on the PS2.
Oh,
So
yes.
I was quite late at getting a PS1 because I had like my Mega Drive and Sega Saturn and everything. And the time I got a PS1, it wasn't actually that long until the PS2 came out, to be honest. And I remember my pal Merton, shout out to Merton, he got a PS2, and the only game he had at the time was Grand Theft Auto 3. And he was like, right, you need to come up and play this. You need to come up and play this. I was like, right. So I went up to his house and we literally played it for hours and hours and hours. And it just blew my mind how good this game was. The music in it, I had never seen the gameplay like this before, because bearing in mind it was PS1, that was as high up as I had been at that point. And I remember going home and I said to my mum, and see now I'm actually could slap myself. I'm like, right, I'm going to sell my Mega Drive, I'm selling my Saturn, I want a PS2. And I got rid of everything. I sold all like the consoles I had. Yeah, I had like a Mega Drive, I had a Sega Saturn, the Mega CD, and then I just was like, right, I want a PS2, and I just bought it. And I finally got one. And it took me ages because I had to obviously save up for it. I got a PS2 and I got Grand Theft Auto 3, and I don't know how many times I just played that and finished it. And then obviously you had all the cheat codes to get like the wanted levels, all the guns, and then just exploring the city. But yeah, that is honestly the first one that always comes to mind when somebody asks me that sort of question. And it's like, I don't know what it is about that game. It just completely blew my mind to how open it was and just how amazing it was. I don't know if it was just at that stage, the age I was at, I was probably at the perfect age for it as well. But yeah, it just blew my mind how good it was. So it is a bit of it's not as a retro game as people might think. I might pick like a way down to Mega Drive or Master System or anything, but no, Grand Theft Auto 3 was the one that just blew my mind.
Yeah, I think with Grand Theft Auto 3 as well, like the transition from like Grand Theft Auto 2 or London and the first one, obviously it's all bird's eye view, isn't it? And just going from this like cartoonish looking map that you just drive around to an actual 3D world where you're an actual person and the cars actually look like cars, and I can see why that would just like like to be honest, out of all of the Grand Theft Autos, I think Grand Theft Auto 3 is still my favorite, just because of that first initial boom. You're in this 3D world and you're playing Grand Theft Auto. But I totally back you on that one. So for me, I chose, to be honest, I kept going through like certain games and I'm like, I couldn't really think of one, but then I remembered Metal Gear Solid. so that's why I'm upset with you, because you said on the podcast that you've never played it. But no, for me, like before Metal Gear Solid, like the type of games that I'd play were just like little like kiddie platformers like Rayman, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and then obviously on the Mega Drive it'd be like Sonic, The Lion King, Toy Story. And Metal Gear Solid was like the first, like, I want to say adult game that I played, because I was still a kid back then. I was still, I was maybe 11 years old when that first came out. And it was like it was like a 15 age rating. So my mum and dad were like, "Oh, I don't know if you should be playing this." And but my next door neighbor got it, and he was a year younger than me. I'm like, "Come on, if my next door neighbor can have it and he's allowed to play it, why can't I play it?" And eventually, I did get it, and just it completely blew me away. Just like, just all the little like, breaking the fourth wall. So like. In fact, I've got it here. I didn't realize I've been streaming it. So, like, one of the bits in the game, the colonel calls you and says, "Oh, it's on the back of the CD case. This codec that you need to call this character." And I remember spending hours looking around this area in the game trying to find a CD case. I was like, where is the CD case? And I kept calling the colonel back, and he'd be like, it's on the back of the CD case. And I started getting like really frustrated with it. And then I picked the game up, and I'm like, oh my God, it's on the back of the CD case, the codec. It's right there.
Oh, no way.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna call that, and yeah, that was the number. I'm like, wow, like you've literally broken the fourth wall there. And then later on, you come across a boss called Psycho Mantis, and he can read your mind, and he can make things move with his mind and stuff. So he tells you to put the game controller on the floor, and he goes, I'm going to move it with my mind. And then he basically makes the pad vibrate, and it like moves across the floor. Like, oh yeah, that's clever. But then he even took it further, where he goes, right, I'm going to read your mind now. And what he would do is read your memory card to tell you which games you've been playing recently. So it like read the game save files, but the caveat is it was only Konami games that he could read. So games like Silent Hill or International Superstar Soccer, you know, those types of games. But he would read them out and say, "Oh, I can see that you've been playing Silent Hill." And I was like, "Wow, how does he know that?" And then I figured out he's reading my memory card. Yeah.
Wow, that cool is that? I don't even know if any other games ever done anything like that.
No,
that's crazy.
I think that was like the first of its time, and I think that's why it had such a massive impact on people. But yeah, that's the game that I thought that just blew my mind. You know, back in the day as an 11-year-old.
That's well cool. So in other words, I'm going to have to get Metal Gear Solid to play it, because it's going to be no use to me playing it on a game stick or anything. I'm not seeing the back of the case. I'm pretty sure I could probably Google it, mind you, but there's no the fun in that. How much is it to get Metal Gear Solid now? Is that quite a sought after game now because of that aspect of it, or is it obviously it was quite well bought, I suppose, so there'll be probably quite a lot of copies out there. But
yeah, there's a lot out there. I think average you're talking like 20-30 quid.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. The platinum version goes for about 20 quid, but the black label about 30 quid. Yeah.
Gee, that's not too bad then.
But yeah, it's worth picking up.
I like that.
Really good.
That's very clever. That's on my list as well.
It's getting bigger, this list.
It is. I'm going to have to take about 3 weeks off my work to play it.
Right. The next question is, which video game universe would you hate to live in?
I would say, and I've thought about this one, it would be Among Us. And I know that's such a random choice, that daft game, because Alba, my daughter, got me to play it with her for a few times, and I'm like, what is the point in this game where you just run about, do stupid, meaningless tasks, and pretty much just get killed anyway for doing them? And I'm like, imagine being stuck in that world where you're just randomly doing these meaningless tasks on the hope that somebody doesn't kill you. And that was the first thing that popped into my head. And to be honest, I've not really thought of anything else, because I was like, yeah, that actually sounds like an absolute hell. So I would have to say that would be the worst universe. Now, there probably is worse ones out there if you think of like the zombie ones, or like Dead Rising or Days Gone, or even like Borderlands or something like that, Mad Max, where it's like or even Fallout, I suppose, like post-apocalyptic. But for me, that aspect of it, I think stuck on a spaceship, which terrifies me at the best of the time after watching the movie Gravity. I don't know if you've ever seen that with
George Clooney. I've not seen it now. Yeah.
So see, after watching that movie, it just gave me the fear of like space and being out in space and all this sort of thing. I'm not ruining it for you if you've not seen it. It's quite a clever movie. It's actually pretty good. So being stuck on a spaceship with all these little other people, while some of them are trying to kill you, where you're just doing these silly, meaningless tasks. Yeah, to me that sounds like absolute hell on earth, or hell in space, should I say, not on it.
Yeah, so I've again, I was toying with the idea of a couple. Alien Isolation, I could imagine being terrifying.
Yeah, that's
because I've, to be honest, I've got it, but I daren't play it because I've seen other people play it, and I'm just like,
have you not played it?
No, I've got it.
It's such a good game. It's so good. It's so different to what I thought it was going to be going in to play it. It's really good. Oh, you need to play it. You need to play it.
Maybe I'll stream it because I don't do too well with like jump scare games, and I can imagine that's full of them.
It's got a few, yeah.
But the game that I went to was Silent Hill, just because of how weird and how dark it is. Like, I couldn't imagine like just waking up and it just being like foggy everywhere, and then there's nobody around, and then you've just got a radio on you that crackles when something's close by, and then there's just these monsters and stuff, and then I don't think I'd like to live in that universe.
No,
if I could help it.
But it's never really daylight or anything either, and yeah, that's quite a good one actually. That is a good one.
Yeah,
creepy. It's like that. Did you ever play that Outlast? It was Outlast 1 and 2. So basically, you were like, I think you were like a journalist detective guy, and you turn up at this asylum, basically. But you've only got like a video camera that you have to keep putting batteries in and everything to get the light. And there's these guys, like people chasing you and everything. And I did stream it a few times, but I had to stop streaming it because I was just like getting so many jump scares. And of course, I'm shouting or screaming or swearing or whatnot. But yeah, that's another one. Maybe that would be worse, come to think of it, because that's a really freaky game. But again, if you like those sort of things, it's definitely worth a play. But it is really pretty jumpy, to be honest.
All right, we'll go to the last question, which is, which video game would you have liked to have seen made into a movie back in the day?
So for me now, and I've probably said this all the time, even back then to now, I would have loved to have seen a RoboCop versus Terminator movie.
Oh, yeah.
I would have loved that. But just because it was two massive franchises, nowadays it's probably more plausible that would have happened. Back then, you never really had those sort of... But now, obviously, you've had like Alien versus Predator and all that sort of stuff. But how cool would that be? So when Skynet finally took over and the machines took over, all of a sudden RoboCop came out and was like, nah, I'm having none of this, and just went up against the Terminators. I think that would be absolutely epic. And you think of the two movies especially, like how many iconic one-liners there is in both of those movies, some of the death scenes in both of those movies as well, like just on their own, I mean. But the game itself is quite a violent game, to be fair, RoboCop versus Terminator. But I think to bring that into a movie would be epic. I would love to see that. I would definitely love to see that.
I could imagine that as being like an 80s movie as well, like and they'd do it really well as well, wouldn't they? Like
that's like proper music soundtrack to it. But just like the instrumental, because both of them have got although in saying that, Terminator's got some quite good songs in it that when you do listen to the soundtrack, you're like, oh yeah, that's in it. And there is some quite good music in it. But yeah, I think that would be like your ultimate 80s sort of mashup movies, which obviously I love my 80s like action movies and stuff. But yeah, that would be a dream for me. RoboCop versus Terminator, the movie, that would be a dream.
I'd love to see that. Yeah, definitely. Nice
one. What about yourself?
Yeah, so again, there were a few contenders. It would be good to see a Metal Gear Solid movie, to be fair, but I thought I've probably mentioned Metal Gear Solid too many times in this podcast.
I'm surprised there's not been one, to be fair. When you think of how many of those games there is, I know I've not played any of them, but how iconic it is and how big it was, and it's a massive franchise. And you think of the other games that have come into movies, even like Uncharted, for example. I wouldn't say that's that massive, but then you have got iconic ones there that I'm surprised I've never touched. Same with, I mean, if you think of all the Tom Clancy stuff that's come out, like the spin-off TV shows and all that sort of things that's maybe come through, like Splinter Cell and things. But yeah, I'm surprised there's never been a Metal Gear Solid, because I think that would do really well.
I think there were talks about, like, at some point, I think they were talking about doing one, and there were like rumors who was going to play Solid Snake and stuff, but it just never came to fruition. So I don't know if it were just hearsay or what, I don't know, but that would have been awesome. But the game that I did pick, it's a bit of a weird one. It's called Heart of Darkness on the PS1. Have you ever played that one or heard of it?
Played Heart of Darkness on the Master System, but I don't know if it's the same type of game as the PS1 one. If you maybe talk about it, I'll see if it's similar.
Wait up.
Oh, we've got it. We've got it. Let's see the front cover. See if it looks the same. Oh no, that's completely different.
Completely different, yeah.
Completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, so Heart of Darkness, for anybody that's not played it, it's like the most difficult PS1 game that ever exists. But like the cutscenes in it, it's like for back in the day, like it was like proper CGI, and it just reminded me so much of like a Pixar movie. And I was like, wow. And I did stream it recently, and I didn't do too well. I managed to get to there's 2 discs, and I managed to get to the second disc, but I kept telling myself this would be really good if this was a movie, you know, like a proper like 90s movie.
Yeah.
But basically, the story is, what's his name now? The main guy. Basically, he's a kid and he's got a pet dog called Whiskey. And Whiskey.
That's a brilliant name.
And Whiskey gets kidnapped by the darkness. So he runs home. He runs to his tree house, and he's got this gear, like machinery that he's made himself. And he presses this button, and then he gets transported to like another universe where Whiskey's been taken. And he lands on this island, this planet, sorry, and basically everything is out to kill you. So it's like shadow monsters and stuff like that. But I was like, yeah, I could just imagine this being like a proper like 90s Pixar style movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that's the one game that I would absolutely love to see turn into a movie. And there's like some really funny scenes in it and stuff. But yeah, I don't know if anybody else agrees, but yeah, for me, I think
that sounds quite cool. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And I just had a thought as well. See how you mentioned Metal Gear Solid there? I was just thinking in my head, if that did ever become a movie, especially if it was in like the 90s and whatnot, it would just be perfect to have Kurt Russell, surely, as Snake.
Yeah.
You had him also almost looking like him as Snake Plissken. Technically, he looks a lot like him in like Escape from New York and Escape from LA, I think the other one was. I think that character is almost identical to Snake in Metal Gear Solid. So straight away, he would be like the perfect person to cast for it if it was in the sort of 90s, if they did do it. I would have thought anyway, he would be an ideal choice.
You're probably not going to believe this, right? Because I know that you've not played Metal Gear Solid 2, right?
No.
So Hideo Kojima, he based Solid Snake off of that character from.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. And in Metal Gear Solid 2, there's a character called Pliskin.
No way.
Yeah. Honestly, mate, you've got to play it. But yeah, completely agree. Like Kurt Russell now, he's getting on a bit, but yeah, back then he would have been perfect, wouldn't he? Yeah.
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 Oh, no, that's it. That's again. Oh, I've got a few games here to play. It's going to take me a while. It's what to start first now. I need to start Heavy Rain. I'll need to do that first, and then I'll get Metal Gear. I'll probably play the Metal Gears 1, 2, and 3 in a row, probably.
Right then. So the next section is everybody's favorite game, Play on Words.
Oh yeah, here we go.
So again, I've thought of 3 Sega Mega Drive games, and I think have you thought of 3 PS1 games?
I have, yeah, I have. I've got them here.
Right. So again, shall we take it in turns? To be honest, I've made these like easy, medium, and hard. So if you could do the same, if possible. If not,
I think I have. I'm trying to think now if I have. Yes, I think I have. I think I have. I've got them the same.
All right. I'll go first this time then. So this one, you're going to get it straight away.
Don't say that. That's a straight when I don't get it.
So the game is called Loud the Porcupine.
Loud the Porcupine. Sonic the Hedgehog. But,
yeah.
Right. Loud, that's what was throwing me off there. I was like, nah, what's Loud coming in? Right, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, that was only the porcupine bit that made me say hedgehog there, and I thought it's got to be Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. I thought as soon as I say porcupine, it's going to give it away. But, I couldn't think of anything else that went with hedgehog. Maybe bush pig.
What's quite funny, what's quite freaky here is you've said, what was it, loud porcupine you said there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
My first one's got the word loud in it as well. What's the chances? Yeah. So my first one here is loud field.
Field. Silent Hill.
Yeah, that's it. I thought you would have got it quicker because we just literally talked about it. I can't believe that, that I've picked that and we're actually just talking about it there. Yeah, you've got it. Loudfield is Silent Hill.
Right, this next one. I'm not sure how you'll do with this one. It should be all right. In Walk.
In what? Outrun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I should have put that one first, really. I think that was probably easier.
Right, let's see how you get on with this then. So I would say it's my medium one, and it's Human 3.
Human 3?
Human 3.
As in the number 3?
Yep, that's in the number 3.
Human 3?
Human 3.
I don't know what would replace 3. Is the first word alien?
Yeah.
Okay. What would replace 3 then? Or is it just Alien 3?
No, it's not quite. Not quite.
Alien number? Alien. What PS1 game? Alien Trilogy.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I was going to give you a clue there and tell you it was on the game sticks and then see if that would help.
Right, this is your last one. And yeah, I think you might struggle here. No pressure.
Right, okay, let's do it.
Shine front.
Shine flashback.
Oh, yeah, you got it. I thought you were going to struggle with that one.
It's just because of the front, and then I thought, what's the opposite of front is back, and then that's the first game that popped into my head was flashback. Yeah. So I thought, right, that's it.
Well done.
Right, here we go. Let's see if you get this one then. So the last one here I've got is Nobody's Club.
Is it Everybody's Golf?
It is, yeah. And I got that because I went through your videos and I was like looking for a game that, you know, how you do Who Remembers This Absolute Classic? And I went like that and I scrolled and I stopped and that was the first one that came up. And I was like, I'm going to use that.
Yeah, it's a brilliant game. That I think that's the only golf game that I actually enjoy, apart from maybe the Wii Sports one.
Yeah.
Nice
I like PGA Tour. PGA Tour, we used to play that all the time on the Mega Drive. I loved that game. And then I can't remember what Tiger Woods it was. There was one of them that we used to, again, have like a tournament, but it was only one specific one. I'll need to try and find out what year it was. But yeah, other than that, that's only two, like sort of, I've no interest in golf, but they were the golf games that I just really loved them back in the day.
We actually have a bonus play on words entry. So on the last episode, somebody commented and wanted to put it in the mix. So I think I know what it is, but we could see if you're in agreement. But I'll let you have a guess. So this is from Tom, also known as Retro Revival. So he's got a podcast with Boxy Arte, 30-something gamers. Yeah, it's brilliant. If you've not listened to it already, go and check it out. But yeah, his entry is a PS1 game, and I guess Tom will have to come back and let us know if we've got it right.
Right, okay.
So yeah, it's a PS1 game, and it is Cemetery Burglar.
Cemetery Burglar. It's a PS. See, I'll be struggling here if it's a PS1 game. Cemetery Burglar.
Shall I give you a clue to what
graveyard
I think
something? Nah.
I'll give you a clue. It's got a female protagonist in it.
It's PlayStation 1.
I'll give you another clue. Before we start recording, I was talking about it.
What were we talking about? I can't even remember now. I've just went a total blank.
I'll give you one final clue.
Talking about it. Go for it.
Tank controls.
So what were we talking about? Oh yeah. Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
Like Lara
that's what I
Croft
think
and
it
that.
is.
That's what it is.
Cemetery Burglar. That's what I think it is.
Ah, yeah. I think you might be right there. You could be right.
We'll have to get
Jeez,
Tom
I
to.
never would have got that. Never would have got that. And Tomb Raider, I have played Tomb Raider, though, just to say that, by the way, I have actually played Tomb Raider. I think I played one and two. Yeah, definitely played the first two anyway, so and finished them as well. Yeah, I don't even think I would have got that.
Yeah, like to be fair, it did take me about 5 minutes to really think about it. So yeah, I think obviously with the clues, you did it in better time than me. Nice one, cool. Yeah,
That was a good one. I enjoyed. That's a good one. Yeah, more of those. If anyone else has them, like I say, put them in the comments on Spotify or comments in our videos, and then obviously we'll need to maybe reach out and see if we get them right or not.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah, definitely. Right, we're coming up to the final section of the podcast of the episode, and it is keep, remake, delete. So last week you chose 3 PS1 games, and I've chose 3 PS1 games. I should have mixed it up and picked some Mega Drive games, but maybe we'll do that on the next one. But the 3 games that we would either keep, remake, or delete are Metal Gear Solid. I know what Dylan's going to do with that one. Rugrats Search for Reptar.
Right.
And Destruction Derby.
Okay. Do you want me to go first to say what I would think, or
yeah, go on then. Let's get it out of the way. Let's see what you'll do with Metal Gear Solid.
Right. I would have to keep it, so then I actually get the chance to play it. Let's just say that I'd have to keep it, so because I couldn't ever not play Metal Gear Solid. Oh, that's my daughter saying good night to me, by the way. So just a little bit there. She's obviously going to her bed. Night. So I'll definitely keep Metal Gear Solid. Remake or delete? See, because of how much I've played Destruction Derby, I couldn't delete that. I remember like going to my friend's house playing that like so many times. So I think I would have to keep that, and I would unfortunately have to delete Rugrats, which actually pains me because I have played that game and grown up. I absolutely loved Rugrats, the cartoon, like on Nickelodeon. That's just memories of watching that before going to school, and I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. So that actually pains me to do that, but that was a tough one. That's what I would do. And yeah, I'd have to keep Metal Gear just so then I'd get to actually play it rather than deleting it and then never getting to play it ever again.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Yeah, definitely. So you would remake Destruction Derby, keep Metal Gear Solid, and delete Rugrats. Fair enough. Yeah, cool. Right, for me, I think you know which one I'll probably remake.
Yeah, thanks. So
I'm gonna remake Metal Gear Solid. It's well overdue a remake. I'm quite surprised that they've gone with Metal Gear Solid 3 to remake first, because the first one is just so iconic. But it's probably easier for them to remake, the third one based off like the models that they have on the PS2 version of the game, and they've already remastered it for PS3 and Vita. So it probably is just easier for them. And out of the two, probably a lot of people would say that the third one is the best out of 2 and 3. But yeah, for me, it's the first one. I could imagine them remaking that and potentially taking it a step further with breaking the fourth wall, just with the technology that we have these days and stuff like that. But they did kind of do a remake already, but on the GameCube with Twin Snakes. But it's proper cheesy, as in they changed some of the cutscenes. So on the PS1 version, there's a part where you've got like a missile launcher and you're shooting it towards a helicopter. It's like a boss fight, and this helicopter like firing missiles at you as well. And then when you complete the boss, when you defeat them, there's like a small cutscene, and the helicopter basically crashes and goes. But in Twin Snakes, what they decided to do was get the helicopter before it crashes and loops out of frame to shoot a missile at Solid Snake, which Solid Snake would then decide to run across the missile, do a flip off it. I was like, why are you doing? Why? It's just so cheesy. Like, you should have just left that out. But yeah, if they did like a proper remake with today's graphics, with this gen of console that we've got, I think it would be amazing. And
that'd be very good, probably.
They'd have to bring David Hayter back as well, the guy who voices Solid Snake. He's like the OG. But yeah, so that would be my remake. Keep and delete. Again, I was struggling with this, like trying to decide. But you know what? I think I would keep Rugrats Search for Reptar. Because it's, at the time, it was so iconic, like such an iconic game. And I love that. Obviously, if you've watched the cartoons back in the day, like you actually play, the levels that you play are actually the episodes. So like Grandpa's Teeth and yeah, I can't remember all of them, but yeah, like you play through the episodes through the game. The only thing I don't like about it is the camera angles and just how colourful it is. Sometimes you get like motion sickness. It starts to feel a bit queasy because it's just so bright. But I would just keep that just for the culture of it. And yeah, I think I would delete Destruction Derby. It is a fun game, and they can't. Well, they did. There was a game on PS4 called Wreckfest. I think it's
yeah,
called.
I played that. It was quite good. It was very, very similar. Obviously, you knew that was the sort of vibe they were going to. Was the Destruction Derby vibe to it, and they had like ridiculous different cars and stuff that they had in it, didn't they? Like they were driving a bed or something at one point, if I remember right. But yeah, I quite liked that actually. So
I think if we could keep Wreckfest somewhere in the universe, then I think I'd be happy to delete Destruction Derby. To be fair, I prefer Destruction Derby 2 compared to the first one. So yeah, I would remake Metal Gear Solid, keep Rugrats, and delete Destruction Derby.
Why do you think Rugrats is so iconic then? Because see, when I first started doing like PlayStation 2 streams and things like that, see the number of people that asked me if I had that game. And I don't know if it's just maybe the age certain people were at when obviously the cartoons and stuff were on. Because I remember I was at the perfect age to watch it. But it seems like that game is just really iconic, that people just seem to absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because it looks so much like the cartoon as well, that it's like you're playing the cartoon in a way, if that makes sense. I know it's maybe a silly way of saying it, but it just seems like such an iconic game that everybody seems to love it. Like everybody that jumps into a stream is like, oh, have you got Rugrats? Or even when you're streaming with the game sticks or anything like that, people are like, has it got Rugrats? What Rugrats games has it got? And I always think that's quite an unusual thing to ask, but it seems like it's such an iconic game, and obviously cartoon and stuff.
Yeah, I think what it is a lot of people grew up, like say, like watching Rugrats, and in terms of like PS1 games, there weren't really any like TV show based PS1 games that were for kids, if that made sense. Like they did like Bugs Bunny Lost in Time, but it wasn't based off of like a cartoon show. It was just based off a cartoon character, if you know what I mean. But with Rugrats, I think that was like the first that I can think of anyway at the time, was the first game that actually included its episodes that everybody grew up loving and watching into the game. So I think that's what really made it stand out compared to like other similar titles. I remember when they first announced it, I think I might have been about 12 years old. We're in secondary school, and I was just like, I'm going to buy that. I don't care what anybody says. I know Rugrats ain't cool anymore, but I'm gonna get it. And then it got to the point where when I had friends around, I would hide Rugrats. So I was just like, I don't want them to see it on my shelf and go, why have you got Rugrats? But then people start talking about it at school, going, have you played Rugrats? I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to play that. So, and they're like, it's really good. You need to play. I'm like, oh, right. Maybe I'll pick it up this weekend and try it.
Yeah.
And then, but like, I don't know what it was. It just really stood out at the time, I think.
I think that's what's meant crazy as well. Just because you've mentioned that as well, I think I've got 4 PlayStation 1 games. That's all I've got, okay?
Yeah.
And I've got, if you see it, Ape Escape.
Ape Escape, yeah.
Right.
Monkey Release.
I've got Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, yeah.
I've got Simpsons Wrestling.
And Rugrats.
So I was like, that is the 4 PS1 games that I've got. And I'm like, it's funny the way you've mentioned that about Rugrats. And I'm like, that is just out of the 4 games I've got, that is literally one of them, is a Rugrats game.
Nice one. Yeah. So, well, that is the end of episode 2. So I think it went okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I've enjoyed that as well. Again, it's probably ran longer than I think we thought it was going to as well. But just once we get talking about stuff and you go on a little bit of a tangent and stuff, I think it's just natural. Just want to talk about our stories and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought it's been really good. I found out some quite interesting things. Got a couple of games that I need to get playing. So
yeah,
I will start Heavy Rain this week. So to give an update on episode 3, how I'm getting on with it, 100%.
Nice. Well, you might have a bit of extra time because next week I'm actually away. So we I know we said we'll probably record 1 a week, but I think next week, because I'll be away, might give you an extra week to get some more gameplay in.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But I guess it'll give the listeners some time to think of some questions for us as well. So what I'll do as well, I didn't realize I could do this, but I can put a poll on Spotify, so maybe we can ask which game everybody else would delete as well out of the 3 that we've chosen today. But also, if people could comment any questions that you want us to answer on the next episode, then we can pop them to one side and pick some at random.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. Really good shout.
Cool, nice one. Well, I guess once again, if you want to plug yourself, and I'll plug myself, just so people know where to find us.
Yeah, so I'm just RetroSega81, all one word. Predominantly I put on as TikTok, but I do have some other socials there, like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, but majority of my content does come through TikTok, where I've got like video uploads, and I do stream on there as well, retro games and stuff. So yeah, RetroSega81.
Nice one. And I'm the Yorkshire Gamer, again, predominantly on TikTok. I don't really use any of the other socials. So, TikTok is the main place. And, we've recently set up a YouTube channel. So if you are listening on Spotify and you want to listen to or watch the actual recording, you can head over to YouTube and search Pixel Pals Podcast, and then that'll bring it up. So, yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, again, it's been lovely speaking to you, Dylan. And I guess until next time, take care, stay safe, and stay awesome. Any last words? Yeah, thanks again, everyone, and thanks for listening.